So let's say that you're sitting down, laying down, doing whatever you do to try to focus in on hearing the Lord's voice. You sit down, you're like, okay, let's think about Jesus, and then groceries come in, and oh, I have to do shopping. Oh my gosh, there's laundry. Oh, I need to go hang out with my friend. Gosh, I totally forgot to do this and this and that. So there's all these different things that come into your mind, and they come in rapidly. So we need to get a handle on being able to slow those things down. So first of all, let's think about this. Um, Imagine a lake, and imagine that that lake is perfectly clear, and that you lean over the lake to see your reflection, and you can see your reflection crystal clear. There's not one single ripple in the waves, and you can just see your reflection perfectly. Now, let's imagine now that you take a pebble and you toss it into the lake, like right where your head is, like the center of your head into the water. Ripples start coming out, and all of a sudden, you can still see your image a little bit, but it's starting to distort a little bit. Now take a whole handful of them and drop those in, and then what happens? There's ripples everywhere, and the only thing that you see is ripples. You don't even know that your reflection is there. And so what this symbolizes is the pebbles are your thoughts, and the more thoughts that are in the water, and the ripples um, that are flowing out, it's going to actually stop you from being able to see your own image. And so what you do is what if you stop throwing in pebbles? What happens? The ripples will eventually calm down, and you'll be able to see again. And so that's the goal that we want to get to. We want to be able to get to the point where we can see ourselves again, see that image, and that symbolizes the ability to tune in and hear the still small voice of the Holy Spirit. If we're talking, we can't hear. It's really, really difficult to hear somebody who's trying to talk to you when you're talking continually, thinking about your own thoughts, right? They're talking all the time, like the Holy Spirit talks all the time, but it's hard to hear him when we're talking, when we're thinking thoughts. So that's what that's what this symbolizes. Stop throwing in the pebbles, and you'll be able to hear clearly what the Holy Spirit wants to say. All right. So now that we have that, how do we get a handle on taking those pebbles and reducing the amount that is being thrown in there so that we can get the water calm? Imagine now that you're outside a movie theater, and you are walking up to the theater. You can go ahead and get some popcorn or candy. I mean, if you guys are on a diet, you obviously shouldn't be eating sugar, but get whatever you want. It's in the spirit realm. It's not going to hurt you. Um, so get whatever you want, and choose a theater to go into. Now, when you get into this theater, you'll notice that there's nobody in there, just you. And there's only one door. There's only one entrance into this theater room that you chose to go into, and there's also a lock on the door. So go ahead and lock the door, and nobody else can come in. It's just you and the theater, right? You, the room, and the screen. So go find a place to sit down, get comfortable, munch on some popcorn, and the lights are going to dim. The lights are dimmed down, completely dark, and now you're just waiting. You're waiting to see what happens. The curtains are closed. Now all of a sudden the curtains open, and the screen is blank. And all of a sudden, an image appears on the screen. That image is you. And as you're looking at this image of you on the screen, you're starting to think, well, what do I do with this? What's going to happen next? And let's say that you think, I wonder what kind of thoughts I'm thinking. And all of a sudden on the screen, thoughts start flying across the screen. Just one after another, so many at once. that it's just like unbearable. It's like handfuls and handfuls of pebbles going into the water. Um, Now you look down to your side and you see a remote control. I know there's no remote controls in movie theaters, but in this one there is. Um, it's pretty cool. So you have this remote control, and you know what it has on it? It has a pause button. It has fast forward, rewind, slow motion, right? Okay, so these thoughts are flying across the screen just at rapid speed. So let's say that you slow them down, okay? Or let's say that you pause it. You're just like, okay, I want to be able to just see what's going on here. So you hit pause, and boom, wherever the thoughts are at, frozen right there on the screen, and you can examine it. You can be like, oh, okay, so that one's that one, that one is that one. Or even before pausing it, you can just put it in slow motion, slow them down. You know, they're crossing over at the speed of light practically, to where all they are is a blur. So slow them down. And then they'll start coming in a lot slower. You know, they won't be going vroom, they'll be going, and then you can slow them down even more to where you can just really see each thought. You know the verse where it says, "Make every thought obedient to Christ," or uh, and take it captive and make it obedient to Christ. Um, how do you do that when you have a million thoughts going through your mind? Well, slow them down. So you can do that. So now, so that's one way of doing it. Now, another interesting vision about taking thoughts captive is this. Imagine that you're in a room that it's a round room, um, and you're in the center of it. And there's one hallway that leads outside the room that is so long. I mean, I'm talking light years long, super long. And down through the corridor of that room are those thoughts. So it's just like you're looking at the thoughts on the movie screen, but now you're actually facing them. They're coming towards you. Okay. Um, so they're coming towards you at light speed and they're hitting you just one after another. Boom, 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 boom. And you're just like, wow, this is overwhelming. What am I going to do with this? And let's say that there's two angels that are posted, or maybe just one angel, make it easier. There's one angel that is posted right outside the hallway. Now, the longer the hallway is, like the light years longer, the longer it's going to take for a thought to arrive. So you could actually make it to where it just comes in really, really slow. And once that thought comes in, the angel will grab it and look at it. But what is the angel going to do with it, right? Well, the angel's going to do what you tell him, what you ask him, or ask him to do with it. So let's say that you ask the angel to examine it, and if it's a thought of evil, to shred it. You know, put it in the thought shredder or the incinerator or whatever. Cast it down, casting down imaginations, taking every thought captive. And then let's say that a good thought comes in, and the angel is instructed to give it to you. Go ahead and pass that thought through so that it can come to you so that you can have a look at it. And then from there you can do whatever you want to do with it. So now, at this point, you can focus in on that one thought. You can really slow everything down, get rid of all the other ones, and be able to focus on what you want to focus on. And let's say that thought is Jesus, right? Let's say that you're thinking about Jesus being in front of you, and that's the thought that you're focusing on. Now, you guys could be saying, okay, that's all well and good, but so are you telling me then that every time I sit down to try this, that I'm going to have to go through this every time? I don't have time for that. This isn't going to work. You're right. That wouldn't work at all. But I'll tell you something. The more you practice with it, the easier it gets. So now, the point that you get to in your practice will be the starting point the next time you start again, right? Now, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of an ocean bar, but what an ocean bar is you have the really small beach waves, and then a little bit bigger wave than that, and then one that's even bigger, and then really big, and really really big. And then after that, there's open ocean, right? The dividing line between that really big wave and the open ocean is the ocean bar. So now, let's think of your progress as you're in a rowboat, right? And you're getting over the first wave. Pretty easy, right? It doesn't take long to get over the first wave, And let's say that that's thinking of Jesus for 1 second, right? Just a little tiny piece of water, and then and as you keep going in deeper into the ocean, you cross the waves, and it gets harder. It gets a little bit harder each time that you get there. But let's say that you have it now to where you can think of Jesus for 2 seconds or even 5 seconds, maybe even a full minute, right? Of just thinking about Jesus with no distractions at all. That means that you're getting to a point where you're getting over some of the bigger, some of the medium-sized waves, and and let's say that you get interrupted and you have to go do something else. Well, the next time you come back to practice this, you're at that wave. You can start there. You can go back to that full minute of being able to have no distractions, or minimal distractions. Um, so let's say that you keep moving, you keep trying to get over that ocean bar, and all of a sudden you're at 5 minutes of being able to focus on Jesus, and then you're at 10 minutes of being able to focus on Jesus, and you're at that big wave, and you're trying so hard to get over it. 30 minutes, an hour, boom, you are out into the open ocean. Now, once you're out into the open ocean, you don't have to struggle anymore. Mark my words on this. You will be able to have, I'm gonna say probably about 90% guarantee that you won't be distracted by thoughts. They will stop coming to you once you get to this point. And so mark my words. If you sit down in your prayer chair or in your place of rest or whatever, and you just relax and you think about relaxing, boom, you'll instantly be focused. You'll be able to focus for a long period of time. But that's how you do it. So this is how you can get it to the point where you're ready to be able to really focus on the Lord during your quiet time with Him.